mail-order black bride arrives to find 7 kids and no husband, becomes. The passenger shuttle cut through the atmosphere of Novaterra 6, its sleek silver body trembling against the resistance of the colony's thin clouds. At the back of the cabin sat Amara Delane, her hands folded tightly in her lap as she stared through the small oval window. A swirl of dust storms danced on the terraformed horizon. Amara had left Earth on a leap of faith. The marriage exchange program promised safety, stability, and, above all, a future. She had grown tired of a ravaged planet where corporations controlled food, air, and even water. A new life with a husband waiting for her across the stars had sounded like salvation. The dossier had been simple: widower, scientist, 7 children. Seeking strong partner for companionship, family care, and frontier building. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. At least, she had thought so. Now, as the shuttle made its descent, Amara whispered a prayer. Arrival. The settlement was small, nestled between pale cliffs and glowing domes. Amara stepped onto the landing pad and breathed in the recycled air. Waiting for her were 7 children, ranging from a toddler clutching a ragged robot toy to a tall teenage girl with hard eyes and folded arms. But there was no husband. The eldest, a boy of about 16, stepped forward. His voice cracked with a strange mix of youth and burden. "You must be Amara," he said flatly. "Our father isn't here." Amara blinked. "Where is he?" The boy didn't answer right away. The younger children shuffled closer, wide-eyed, clutching one another. Finally, he said, "He's gone. 2 months now. Didn't even tell us. Just left for the Outer Ridge Research Station. Never came back." The words hit Amara like a punch. She had left Earth believing she was walking into a home, a marriage, a partnership. Instead, she was standing on alien soil with 7 children staring at her like she was an intruder. The teenage girl scoffed. "So much for a bride. You should get back on that shuttle." But the shuttle was already rising, leaving her behind. The house. The children led her to the dome home, dust-streaked and half-lit. Inside, it was chaos. Clothes scattered across couches. Dishes stacked in sinks. Machines half-broken and humming. The toddler cried for food. Amara's chest tightened. She could leave them to fend for themselves, but something in her wouldn't allow it. These weren't just children. They were stranded humans in a hostile world. She rolled up her sleeves. For days she cooked, cleaned, repaired circuits, and coaxed the younger ones into bed with soft songs she remembered from Earth. The older children resisted her, especially the teenage girl, Nia, who called her an outsider, and accused her of replacing their mother. But gradually, Amara noticed something else. The house wasn't just messy. It was hiding secrets. Strange discoveries. One night, as she was sorting through their father's abandoned study, she found encrypted logs on his datapad. The files referenced Project Seed and contained schematics for biodomes unlike any she had seen. There were also strange notations about genetic instability and replication errors. Amara frowned. Why would a scientist vanish and leave 7 children behind with such cryptic notes? The next day, she asked the eldest boy, Jonah, about their father's work. He avoided her gaze. He said he was building something for us. A better future. But he never explained. That night, Amara awoke to soft sobbing. She followed the sound to the youngest girl's room and found the child glowing faintly under the sheets, her veins lit up like bioluminescent roots. Amara gasped. The glow dimmed as the girl fell asleep again. What exactly had their father been doing? Tensions. By the second week, Amara was running the household. She fed them, fixed their heating system, and even taught the younger ones lessons. The children, in turn, began to depend on her. Except Nia. "You're not our mother," Nia snapped one evening. "You don't belong here. You're just some mail-order bride. He ordered you like spare parts." The words cut deep. Amara knew she was meant to be a wife, not a substitute caretaker. But leaving the children now would mean abandoning them to starvation, or worse, discovery by colonial enforcers who might separate them. Still, Amara couldn't ignore the mystery. She began piecing together their father's notes late into the night, using her own background in nursing and biology. Slowly, a terrifying possibility emerged. These children weren't born naturally. They were engineered. Revelation. The truth came crashing one afternoon when Jonah collapsed in the yard, his skin flashing with the same eerie glow. Amara rushed him to the med station in town, only to be met with cold stares and hushed whispers. The doctor scanned Jonah, then pulled Amara aside. "These children aren't registered births. They're constructs. Lab-grown. Hybrids designed for colonization resilience. Whoever made them broke every interstellar ethics code." Amara's blood went cold. The missing husband hadn't just abandoned his family. He had abandoned his experiment. When she returned with Jonah, the younger ones clung to her, terrified. Nia stood stiffly at the door, eyes glistening. "You know now, don't you?" she said. "We're not real. We're mistakes." Amara knelt before her. "No. You're not mistakes. You're children. And you deserve a life." For the first time, Nia's hard expression cracked. The threat. But the truth had consequences. Soon, drones from the colonial authority began circling their dome. Official broadcasts warned against illegal habitation. The children panicked. "They'll take us away," Jonah whispered. "We'll be dissected." Amara knew he was right. If the authority discovered what they truly were, they'd be confiscated like stolen property. She faced a choice: leave them and save herself, or fight for them. She chose to fight. Becoming mother. Amara dug deeper into their father's research, working night after night while the children slept. She discovered a stabilizing serum formula buried in the data, something he had been close to finishing before disappearing. If completed, it could halt their genetic degradation and keep them alive. Using scraps from abandoned labs and her medical knowledge, she began recreating the serum. The children helped, gathering minerals from the ridges, sneaking past authority patrols. Even Nia grudgingly joined, though she never admitted trust. Through it all, Amara grew closer to them. She told them stories of Earth, sang lullabies, and held them when the night winds howled. They weren't just abandoned creations anymore. They were her children. The final stand. One stormy night, the authority arrived in full force, hovercrafts descending, soldiers in chrome armor demanding entry. Amara stood at the door with the children behind her. "These are mine," she declared. "They're not experiments. They're family." The officer sneered. They're illegal constructs. They belong to the authority. But before they could seize the children, Nia stepped forward, her body glowing like wildfire. Jonah and the others joined her, their strange bioluminescence flaring. Amara injected the prototype serum into Jonah's arm. The glow stabilized, pulsing rhythmically instead of chaotically. The others calmed as well. They're stable, Amara said fiercely. They're alive. And I will protect them. For a moment, even the soldiers faltered. These weren't weapons or failed projects. They were children, clinging to the woman who had become their mother. The officer hesitated, then ordered retreat. Perhaps the authority wasn't ready for a public scandal. Perhaps they simply underestimated her. Either way, they left. Epilogue. Months later, the dome home had transformed. The children thrived under Amara's care, their health stabilized by the completed serum. Jonah worked the fields, Nia studied engineering, the little ones laughed and played without fear. One evening, as they sat around the dinner table, Nia finally whispered, "Mom, thank you." Amara's throat tightened. She looked around at the glowing faces, each one alive because she had chosen to stay. She had come to Novaterra 6 as a mail-order bride expecting a husband. Instead, she found 7 children and no man at all. But in becoming their mother, she had discovered something greater than any promise of marriage. She had found her family.